we have fantastic set of speakers lined up for you. So what I'll do is I'll go through this agenda and help you understand what is in store for you. What we'll like to do is to keep it very interactive. We have chocolates and all. So for the best questions, make sure that if you have any doubts, you raise your hand. Our speakers, they want to conduct this in a very interactive environment. So feel free to raise your hands if you have any doubts. We'd like to keep it a very high-level knowledge session as well as networking. We are having a co-located event at the venue. In the other hall, we are running Agile Testing Conference. So both are two different events, but it is co-located at this place. So we'll have the first session by the Global Devops lead from CSC, Mr. Vittal Krishnasamy, and he will set the scene. He will give a DevOps overview, and he would also go a little bit deeper inside the engineering aspects. Then we'll break for tea and coffee. And then we target Mr. Prakash Mall, he's a senior group manager. We have Cyrus from InMobi talking about a tool, Ceto Engine, which is an automation tool used in DevOps, primarily in alerts management. We'll break for lunch, and then we'll have a panel discussion. We keep the panel discussion highly interactive, so it will be more of an interaction between the panel and the audience. So it will be all your doubts, whether we are covering in this agenda or we are not. This is a time when you can ask any questions. Then we have a session from the QA aspect, from the software testing. So those who are working in software testing and wondering what changes for them in a DevOps project or DevOps process. We have the next two sessions, one from Trov IT, other from Siemens, and the last session on continuous delivery from ThoughtWorks, Mr. Aroj George. So Vittal has told me that he has a very power-packed, very good presentation on DevOps, and he will be talking a little bit more on the engineering aspects as well. Hope I'm right on this, Vittal. So this is the discussion, and without spending another moment, would like to invite Mr. Vittal from Global DevOps Lead CSC for the first keynote talk. Please come in.
Is it audible? Yeah, I never said I have a presentation. I hope I let you say that. Warm greetings. I'm from CSC. I'm an engineer. The rest I want to rather leave it. Before I start the day, I would like to have a quick understanding of the cross-section of the crowd that we have, so that I adapt myself a little comfortably to that. Yeah, let me take a seat. I'm not going to, I don't intend to, at least I don't love to say things that you would find in public spaces, Google or whatever wiki you can do. I don't want to say any of those. So it's customary of me being the first speaker to say something of the DevOps overview to warm up the whole day for everyone. But I would restrict as much possible. I would do as little of it, possibly. So how many are really stuck in engineering issues on what you want to know as a DevOps thing? That's because a brochure literature is fine. An elevator pitch is fine. It was fine 2 years back, 3 years back. Not this year, not even last year for us. So how many of you are stuck in the hands-on engineering who want to know what is DevOps? You may be in the dev side, you may be in the ops side. I'm not dividing it now, but I just want to know. We happen to be either in this side or in the operation side. We want to remove the scene, that's all fine. But I want to know how many are hands-on in this crowd. So I believe most of these are about engineering issues. There is a cultural aspect to the DevOps, but I don't think it requires my bragging from here. You all understand we all have to collaborate, be it in life or in office. That's understood. I'm not saying anything more on that. So the cultural revolution that this DevOps is all about is all probably understood by us, rather we will have to adhere to it. It doesn't need a say. I would rather restrict myself most part to the engineering culture and the engineering tools and technologies and the allied automation around that. Is that okay? It's intended to be head heavy, and so I would like to make a prelude about it. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I would love this kind of warming up of interaction. I thank you for that. The seam that we have to break between the dev and the ops, and we are making it seamless. There is this traditional world's dev of DevOps and the ops of the DevOps. And the DevOps of DevOps consists of your entire development cycle, now umbrelled under continuous integration, again cataloged as continuous development, continuous testing, and continuous release automation in the dev side. And in the ops side, we have a new age warmed up some 4 years or 5 years back, lured into the industry by the virtualization world as a technology, and then made into a consumption model that is cloud. Make a difference between virtualization and cloud. One is an engineering, another one is a consumption model. And in the ops side, we have this enormous Unity infrastructure of a compute power that consists of completely homogeneous stacks of blades of racks of RAM, CPU, network hardware, all of storage, all of that, which helps you to make dime a dozen servers released in a minute, and then also let go of it, maintain, monitor it all in an automated fashion. Otherwise, you can't do really the hammer and tong in a manual fashion. That's the ops of the ops side, which is a provisioning world and the platform configuration world. So we are trying to find here this CI, which consists of these three things that I was talking: CD, CT, CRA, continuous development, testing, and release automation. And this entire infrastructure rack that needs to be provisioned in an automated fashion, and both of them coming together to suit releasing or being market ready in a very quick, shorter cycles. That's in a nutshell is what we are trying to cover in this talk. And that's my view of DevOps, however docky and stocky it is. So probably DevOps holds that there are as many opinions about it in this room as possibly, and it's better that we have it. It's perfectly fine. But I would rather let go of my opinion to you and would lend an ear for what you are saying. So is that okay? Yeah. So I think that summed up. Thanks that lady for helping me give an overview of what I'm trying to say. That summed up the overview. I'll go beyond the elevator pitch. Is that okay? Some of these I'm not going to read out because I hate reading out the PPTs. So I'll just spend 5-10 seconds for you to see the day. So at the end of it, after telling some of these things, after a little belaboring of the first 5-10 minutes, I'll go into a specific implementation of DevOps for you to know that this could be done this way as well, as many other ways are there. So at that point, I will go into a platform that we call it agility platform. CSE is agility platform. And it's not about tool selling. I'm still focused here on about DevOps only, but I'll show it in the context of our platform that we have so that we relate with how we are relating with, for example, Amazon as a cloud infrastructure on a public cloud, OpenStack as an open source infrastructure software, and VMware as an infrastructure piece, or all the way up to platform and SaaS stack that they are up to. So how we are relating with those, this is a platform on the context of which we wanted to explain my understanding of DevOps. Is this bright and clear enough? This, I think, is only worth 5 seconds. This is from Wiki. This is customary of me to say because I'm the first guy here. So this, you could find it in Wiki. You don't need to read through. Agile is not DevOps, but we all grew from Agile. At least me. So again, none of these requires a big telling about it in the early morning. One of the things that we wanted to really stress is this: the business community pushing, and we need to have a greater agility for delivering to them. Frankly speaking, the infrastructure community have done their bit. starting from the day I love when 4 years back VMware guy told this, the first word, software defined data center. I owe it to them. The industry owe it to them for specking out this word, software defined data center. That's from VMware. So that infrastructure world has been done by them, and we didn't have the dev side of the world, which is still broken in kind of lot of development technologies have not yet migrated into, moved into, mapped into the infrastructure world. The infrastructure world was mostly managed by the ops guys, and they were able to create these kind of servers, dime a dozen every second. For example, like I'm happy to quote this. Recently, Google released 2 billion containers every 2 weeks. And they destroy it and they recreate it. The ops world is nimble enough already. Is the dev world good enough for it to move into that in order to make the release cycle? So that's where actually we are able, that's only how we will be able to cater to the business world. So lack of automation was the key thing that was struck between the dev teams and the ops teams. Stop me at any point in time, please. So some of the indicative solutions that we think when we can abstract it out of all that we have done, this is how we would put it. Easily and quickly provision infrastructure and platform resources for production. Here it behooves me to say two things. When we talk about provisioning, I'm going to be very, very open-hearted, generous about all the technology players in the industry, and not about extremely biased towards some. Give a lion's hand of this provisioning to Puppet Labs and chef communities, largely, who have helped, what is automation of the infrastructure. That's the angle that we are talking on infrastructure automation. But what they lack and what more tools are coming in to supplement them is what we are going to see in the couple of slides below. A lot of declarative languages. I'm sure against imperative language, declarative language, they're not only developmental world, but also in the sysadmin world, declarative languages. Virtualization, virtualization and multi-tenancy has made it mandatory that we deliver, in such a rapid life cycle of cutting and slicing the bare metals into that many number of servers as we need, and then rolling them back again into one big monolithic continuous compute power that is coming as racks or blades, and then reissuing them, self-healing them, and monitoring them. Those are the indicative solutions that we are talking about. Yeah. So I skip through some of these as it's pretty self-explanatory. All these industry puts as DevOps. I am impatient. This probably is my last slide on something generic that I would say. So I'll leave it here sometime. Let me come to CSE's vision of DevOps. When we come to the IT canvas, the enterprise IT landscape, if you look at it, this is where I want to belabor a little more and grind with